another video. I am so excited to be talking about today's topic, which is essentially transitioning from like an alpha female, somebody who's a little bit more independent, definitely has masculine tendencies, into a more feminine, a divine feminine woman, somebody who just lets themselves go a little bit more. And by let yourself go, I don't mean let yourself go, I mean just become a more free individual and to just tap into your feminine energy and having like a very womanly awakening. And I think that this is such an important topic because there are so many women out there who have been tapping into their masculine energy, honestly feeling like they had no choice, me included. And I'm gonna talk about my own personal experiences being a masculine woman and transitioning as a masculine or a more masculine woman into a more feminine woman, and kind of the things that I've been working on, because this isn't just about our appearance or our mannerisms or our hygiene, but it's also about the inner work that we're doing as people to just become more softer and more sound and more feminine and just allowing ourselves to be more free flowing. I think it's just relinquishing a lot of control, because I think that a lot of us masculine or masculine tendency type women do have a lot of control, and we're kind of control freaks. And I really do believe that tapping into your feminine energy means kind of relinquishing it and receiving and allowing just like the universe to do its thing. So I'm gonna talk about my own personal journey today. I have my notes in front of me. I cannot wait to talk to you guys about this. I also wanted to say that today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. You guys know I love working with BetterHelp, so today's video is going to be sponsored by them. So thank you again, BetterHelp, for sponsoring. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and please follow me on Instagram if you guys like my videos and you like me and you guys want to see more of me on there. I post like so much, so you guys are gonna want to keep up. All right, let's get into the video. So a lot of my subscribers actually asked me to touch on this subject because they noticed that in my new recent transformation that I've become more of a feminine woman, and not just in my mannerisms or the way I live my life or anything like that, but just kind of the shadow work that I've been doing and me kind of being more open to receiving and me letting other people, men, and you know, anything like that in my life take charge and me receive and sit back and take like a passenger seat and a passenger ride to life itself. I've always been the driver, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute because I think that it's really important that we touch on why a lot of us women are the drivers and architects of our own life and our own success and the passions and the drive that we have and our ambitious nature. Because to be honest, being a masculine woman isn't a terrible thing, and we don't want to get rid of our masculine side. We just want to have a more healthier masculine side and tap a lot more into our feminine side. And I'm going to talk about how to have healthy masculine energy at the end of the video. Okay, so a lot of us grew up with women, especially myself, where we didn't see much femininity happening in the home. I come from a mother who works. She was a provider. She was definitely an alpha female, very independent, super ambitious. She really didn't like having help from any man or anything like that. And I was always instilled the same type of mental nature. So essentially I was always taught to like not depend on anybody, to be a provider myself, to be ambitious, to not like have help or anything of the sorts. And I think that it essentially breeded a lot of possibly some toxic qualities in myself. One of my toxic qualities is literally not being able to receive. Like I just could not receive. So if I got a gift, it made me uncomfortable. If I had help, it made me uncomfortable. And what's crazy is if somebody asks me what my love language is, I would always say it's acts of service. So it's interesting how acts of service and receiving gifts are like my two love languages, yet those are the two things that I have such an uncomfortable like feeling about whenever it happens for me. Very odd. Not only was I raised to like not need anybody, but I was also subconsciously bred like the idea of being like the sole reason for my success, my happiness, my willfulness, my drive. So having a boyfriend, which I've had boyfriends, did not mean that I could depend on these people, which is why naturally I was always attracted to, and still not anymore, but in, you know, the beginning half of my single life, I was still attracted to potential because I didn't actually care about the things that I should have cared about, which is a man being a provider, a man who likes to give, somebody who's generous. These are all things that I am now realizing are very important to me, especially with the life that I want to live. Yet I'm constantly like attracted to potential and guys who like aren't really like super giving. And I also think that receiving doesn't necessarily mean that you have to receive just gifts. I mean, receiving help in any type of way, it could be emotional, mental, physical, financial. There's a lot of different things that you can receive. And when you are not super feminine, receiving feels awkward and you honestly don't even know how to receive. And a lot of men or people in general who are providers or who are people who like to give will naturally not gravitate towards someone who is really stepping into their masculine because they feel like, she doesn't need me. She doesn't care to have these things. I'm gonna go to the person that does. Do you understand what I'm saying? I also wanted to like quickly touch on healed versus wounded woman. And in my journey of self-discovery, self-awareness, and all of those things, I have had to heal the wounded parts of myself. And if you guys want an entire video dedicated to healed versus wounded, I can definitely do that, but I kind of wanted to give you a little bit of insight into my healing journey and like the healing awakening that I had. So obviously, like as a woman, when you are wounded, you're going to be a little bit more manipulative with certain things, where a healed woman is more compassionate, and a wounded woman would lack self-control, which we're going to get into later. But a woman who is healed is going to instill boundaries and love themselves. So those are like two major examples of a healed versus wounded woman. And I realized when I was going through the list in, my journal of what a healed woman versus a wounded woman is, I realized there was a lot of me that still needed healing. And one of them was definitely being that I lacked self-control. I was a little bit reckless sometimes. I didn't have healthy, strong, really good boundaries. And now that I am more healed, I have instilled a healthier boundary in my life, whether it's a boundary into getting to know me, sleeping with me, being in my presence in general. It could be boundaries with the things that I care deeply about, my morals, my values, things like that. These are all things that you want to have really healthy barrier type boundaries with. Okay, let's talk about today's sponsor, which is BetterHelp. I've worked with BetterHelp several times, and I must say they are honestly one of my favorite people to work with because I genuinely feel like therapy, no matter how much you hear about it, is just not talked about enough, and I don't think enough people use it, and I really wanted to get into it today. I think happiness is something that is super underrated, surprisingly enough, and I think that we all should work on it regardless of if we're okay or we're not doing terrible. I think that we naturally as people always try to put off getting help, but this is where I come in and say, no, you deserve it, and it's time to just get as happy as you possibly can, and having this amazing service is going to help you get there. So BetterHelp is going to match you with a licensed professional therapist. They have so many different therapists to choose from, and you are going to get matched with the perfect one for you. And if you don't like this person or you feel like you would vibe better with somebody else, you can change your therapist whenever you want. And what's so great is you don't have to sit in a waiting room. You don't have to get up out of your house and go and see a therapist. You can literally do it from your home. And you can start communicating within 48 hours. So if after this video you guys want to see a therapist or speak to somebody, you can do it in as little as 48 hours from now. I know for me, I have sought therapy multiple times in my life, and every time I've ever done it, I've never regretted it, and I've always felt significantly better afterwards. They have 20,000 different therapists. So there's really no reason for you to not like somebody. You're going to get matched with the perfect person eventually, and you are going to be able to access this from anywhere in the world. So this service is available to anybody and everybody. So you don't have to be on the video call if you don't want to. You can do a phone session if you really want to. I personally like a video because I like that more interpersonal connection with somebody. But if you're like a little bit embarrassed or shy or whatever the case is, you can do a phone call and do that for your therapy sessions. It is more affordable than traditional office services, and there is financial aid available for people who do need a little bit of aid and help when accessing this. I want to make sure that this can be accessible for everybody, and they do offer that. Okay, so I want you guys to visit betterhelp.com/Haley so that you guys can have your access to therapy now. I want you guys to get the help that you need and deserve, and we all could use it every once in a while. A little pick-me-up, a little way for us to just regain a little bit of confidence, and I hope you guys get it if you really need it. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back into the video. Back to me saying that I was an alpha masculine type woman. Again, we're gonna talk about receiving. I just didn't feel like I deserved receiving. And you want to, when you are tapping into your feminine energy and you're going to become more of a soft girl, you want to be more receptive to receiving. So all of the designer items that I have purchased were all literally purchased and done by me. Not saying that I expect a man to buy me designer items. I just want you guys to have a little bit of insight into everything that I have in my life, my furniture, my purses, my shoes, my car, my rent, all these things I pay for myself. And I have a hard time accepting gifts in that nature, whether it's money or items or anything of the sorts. In this awakening, I have also been more receptive to not only receiving gifts, but receiving love and affirmations. When you are a masculine woman, not only do you not receive gifts well, but you also don't receive affirmations and love well. Anytime somebody would say something positive to me, I would always be like, but like, are you sure? Like, I would always question it and feel this incessant need to be better. Where now when somebody says something, I'm like, wow, thank you so much. Thank you, honey. Or I really appreciate that. Where me tapping into my masculine energy was always like, it's just not enough. Like, I need to be better. And I am now just starting to relinquish a lot of that control freak nature and allowing compliments and gift giving and love and support and compassion. I am welcoming that into my life. And I am doing the new damsel in distress attitude where I do need a little help here and there. I don't want to put together a table by myself. Please help me. I don't want to lift this box all the way to my apartment. And I also wanted to say that tapping into your divine feminine is to start loving yourself and being more confident. Feminine women know what they want. They love themselves. They're confident in how they look, how they feel, what they do. These are all things to really note. So when you are working on your feminine journey and you want to become a more sound and well-rounded woman, you want to start finding things that make you feel whole and beautiful and smart and just well-versed. So for me, being a well-rounded woman, it's so many different things, right? It's how you look. So let's talk about, your appearance. Being a feminine woman, being into your divine femininity is finding looks that work for you. I know now how to dress for my body. I know what hairstyles look pretty on me. I know exactly the makeup that I want to do that makes me feel the prettiest and the most confident, because at the end of the day, it's not about how other people perceive your femininity. It's about how you feel about it and how you're tapping into it, because it's more of an energy, it's more of a vibe than it is anything else. Then we have to talk about your attitude. Are you super stern and assertive, or are you more carefree and listening and understanding? And these are all things that you really have to work on when you're thinking about how to be a more confident, loving person to yourself and to others. And again, back to what I was saying, receive, receive, receive. You want to receive whatever compliment or thing you are ever provided. That is what is so important. And I also think that when you are tapping into your divine feminine, you know how great you actually are. So I think that naturally, you know what you bring to the table. So you don't need to have like this incessant need to oversell yourself to people. You lead with minimal effort and you receive things with having a positive attitude, being confident, and loving yourself. I'm telling you right now, a masculine woman oversells herself, is always like, I have this to offer. When you are a feminine woman, you just sit in your beauty, you sit in your confidence, and you're just going to receive so much more. I'm telling you, being a more relaxed person and allowing, moments to just happen is like the key to success in being a divine feminine woman. Okay, a huge one to be working on from going from masculine to feminine is having strong and respectful boundaries. So I'm gonna bring up sex because I think it's important to bring up sex when talking about these types of topics. A masculine woman is going to give it up on first night because you don't have strong boundaries. And there's nothing wrong with a masculine woman doing this. We all have been there, well, not all of us, but a lot of us masculine women have been there where we are very in touch with our masculine side and we're like, well, I know I need it and I know I like it, so I'm gonna do it. You don't have to be like that. And you shouldn't be like that. Like, let's curate some more healthy boundaries. Let's have somebody work for it a little bit. Let's just kind of have somebody have a little bit of imagination when thinking about us and really make them wait and give yourself the respect and time that you need before you are going to commit to that type of intimacy. It's okay to have like a respectful, good girl nature. And I think that being feminine is having these healthy boundaries, and a masculine man, an alpha male, will really see this in a woman and say, wow, like she has boundaries, she has respect for herself, and she's a patient woman. And yes, you you can have a strong connection with somebody sexually and mentally and physically, but you don't need to act on it. Like, having boundaries and restraint is such a beautiful thing. And I wanted to touch on, I told you guys I was gonna touch on this, is how, like, having healthy masculine tendencies that you probably already have in you, or that you should possess. If you are thinking, okay, I want to like let go of all my masculine tendencies, I don't think you should. One of the things that I think is a healthy masculine tendency is having integrity and awareness. This is super crucial. Being a super aware person rather than being super aloof or naive is a beautiful thing, and I think that we should all keep this. And a huge masculine tendency, or a huge masculine trait that we have, is possibly being a grounded person. You never want to be out on your ass. You never want to be so damsel in distress and such a, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't want to be so okay with not doing anything for yourself. Like, you want to still give yourself comfortability and support that you need in order to feel grounded and okay and safe. It's okay to receive safety from someone else, but never allow somebody else to give you 100% of your safety, because if they take it away, you're gonna have none. So being grounded and constantly making sure that you're good is so important. And I think that we should keep all of those qualities, because we never wanna be out on our ass. If a man up and leaves us tomorrow, we still have our own stuff. We have our own coin, we have our own everything. And it was nice having them in our lives, and it was nice receiving from these people, but it's not necessary for us to survive. And I think that that's really crucial in tapping into your masculine side. I have been just a more creative, free-flowing gal, and it's been so fun. And I think that feminine women, we naturally just don't really get caught up in drama. We don't really care about anything crazy. We let people be who they are. We just kind of live in our own confident, amazing lives, and it's so fun over here, guys. Like, I feel like, wow, I'm not a control freak anymore. Like, if something gets done, it's gonna get done. If it doesn't, it's not a big deal. It's cool and it's good and it's nice, and I just want to practice living a softer life, not to have like heavy expectations, but to accept love and adoration. That is really great. I think that having expectations is something that a masculine person would do, because they're like really regimented in making sure that they're always set and okay. Where me, because I've become more free-flowing and I've tapped into my feminine, I have been just really having really like low expectations in the department of like what I think I'm gonna get, and I just receive anything that's given to me. I take it in stride, and I accept all good and amazing things, regardless of if they're big or small. And I always remind myself, like, you deserve it, you work hard, you love yourself, and this is how it's supposed to be. Like, a man is supposed to be giving us things, and we naturally as women are receivers. And as long as you're leading with love and you're not being manipulative or disrespectful, then this is something that you should definitely tap into more, because it's going to make you feel so much better. And it's okay to want somebody for something other than just companionship. Like, I think a lot of us masculine women love being companions with guys and like accepting like nothing else. Like, we don't want them to pay for us for dinner. We don't want them to buy us things. We don't want them to help us with stuff. Like, no, it's okay to ask a man, hey, can you hang my drapes in my apartment? I can't reach up there. It's totally okay. I wanted to quickly talk about like little things that have happened in my life recently that have allowed me to tap more into my feminine energy, especially after working on myself and healing myself. Because again, I had to unlearn a lot of things, being that I was raised a certain way and I never really had a chance, or I feel like I didn't have a chance to be super feminine. This is all really like new territory for me. So a couple things that I have been given in my new journey, one of them has been money. A few guys have literally offered me money, and I never ask for money, and I never get money in return for something. So if a guy is offering you money in return for like something, well, let's just say it's in return for fellatio or something like that, that is not what I'm talking about. I've had two guys recently. One guy, he offered to pay for my nails and cash out to me money, which I thought was really sweet. These nails right here. And then I had another guy give me like 40 bucks because he said that it was really nice talking to me and he just wants to prove to me that he's worthy of going on a date with me, so he wanted to send me money. And normally I'd be like, no, I don't take money from strangers, or I don't take money from people in general. Like, that's so weird. But I said, okay, thank you so much. That was really sweet of you. I really appreciate it, because I just don't want to say no anymore to receiving a gift that was offered to me. I did not ask for it. It was literally given to me. Another thing that I've been receiving a lot of is flowers. I know I've talked to you guys about this a lot. I love flowers. They're my way of like really receiving gifts. I've always loved flowers, and I've been receiving that. Another way that I've been tapping into my feminine energy that doesn't have anything to do with gifts is I've been listening more than talking. In previous relationships and situationships that I've had, I was like the sole talker, and I was the person that was always leading conversation, where now I love to just sit back and listen and enjoy the company of someone else and allowing them to lead the conversation. It's been really refreshing, and I actually really love it a lot. And even though I do love to talk, I actually really do like to learn from people as well. So it's been really nice, and I don't know, I think it's just like a more feminine thing to do. And I also wanted to say that you're not gonna feel powerless doing something like this. I still feel really powerful tapping into my divine feminine. I do not feel any less of a woman. I don't feel any less like together of a person, and I don't feel hopeless or helpless. It's something that I think that us women should all tap into, because it starts to actually make you feel safe and comfortable. And that is something that I never thought would happen for me. I really genuinely thought that I would feel like a loser if I like ever took anything from anyone, but in reality I actually don't, because I know that deep down I can do these things for myself. It's just really nice to have somebody who wants and offers to do it for me, regardless of how insane sometimes it may seem. Like, wait, really? Like, that's kind of weird. I just receive, and it's a really beautiful feeling. And I, again, lead with love. I don't use anybody. I don't aim to hurt anyone. So I know that my intentions are super pure, and it's been just making me feel super great. And as somebody who does eventually want to get married and have kids, I don't know, it's been really nice. Like, I'm sitting back thinking like, wait, this is how I imagine myself being when I'm married with my children. Like, I want my husband to drive the car and me be the passenger. And I am okay with being the passenger. I don't always need to be driving. And that is such a great feeling. Like, I feel so free. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video, and if you guys want me to touch more on these subjects, let me know. I actually really love talking about them. I am genuinely in this journey on my own. Like, I am doing this as we speak. So I'm gonna learn new things as I go, and probably change a few things here and there, because one thing about Haley Gamba is she changes her fucking mind a lot, and that I think is normal too. But I wanted to at least put out there exactly what I'm going through and exactly what has been going on in my life, so that you guys can relate it to yours, and if you've been struggling with this yourself. Yeah, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video, and if you did, like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys so much. And I will see you guys in my next video. Mwah.